In this episode, we're going to talk about why Protestants don't become Catholic. 6 reasons. Here we go. What's up, everybody? This is Josh from Practical Theism. Catholic-Protestant conversation has been one that has been taking on new strides over the past couple of decades, in a lot of really interesting ways as well. We've seen loads of Protestants come into the church and loads of Catholics, unfortunately, leave the church, either for Protestant churches or leave the faith altogether. You know, my study of Christianity, it has naturally led me to understand Catholicism as the church that Christ founded. But it always confounded me how others might not see it who are Protestant. Why is that? In the early days of my conversion, I could not really articulate to you why others were not seeing the truth that I was seeing, and I kept giving what I thought were silver bullet answers to people I was dialoguing with. And I was surprised when there was not this immediate aha moment, but the more my journey unfolded, the more I listened to debates and conversion stories of Protestants who became Catholic, the more I started to understand why some Protestants don't become Catholic. And it was because of that understanding that I personally don't hold anything against a Protestant who doesn't become Catholic, because to be quite frank, that is between them and God. But that certainly won't stop me from sharing the journey I have been on and the truth as I understand it. But it also won't stop me from seeking to continually understand someone else's position. And I think that is so necessary for the conversation between Protestants and Catholics. When we seek to understand, we can draw proper distinctions of where we actually differ in our positions. So I think that there are really 6 real reasons or blocks as to why a Protestant won't become Catholic. They are scholastic blocks, financial blocks, intellectual blocks, emotional blocks, social blocks, and other personal blocks. So, scholastic blocks. They don't have the time to read the early church fathers or other material by Catholic theologians to fully understand the church's teaching, rather than the bad misconceptions and misrepresentations of Catholicism that they know. It is a fact among Protestants that they have misconceptions about what the church teaches, about what the Catholic Church teaches, and just how far back those beliefs go. There definitely is a scholastic block in 2 ways, to be sure, and I think time is a big factor here. The Catholic intellectual tradition and unfolding of its doctrine has been going on for 2,000 years. The strong reasons behind the different beliefs and doctrines and dogmas were developed as opposition throughout the years to those beliefs would occur and happen. Because of this, and because of the Protestant sola scriptura doctrine, most Protestants won't even look at other religious writings of Christianity outside of the biblical books to understand and deepen their faith. The witness of the early church was very much documented, and the things they would discuss as students of the apostles definitely presents some pause for questions to any Protestant theology. Next up, financial blocks. They are in a position where their income relies on ministry in the Protestant community. If a Protestant is in a ministry that is their sole source of income, this can absolutely be a barrier to following the truth where it takes them. There are countless stories that I have heard of non-Catholic believers that have come to a conviction of the Catholic faith, but they don't convert because they would lose their financial security of their job. I have to say, I really feel for people in this position, and I can't say that there is a definitive solution here, because if they are a family person, they have a family, they have to ensure that they are providing for their family. But there are good organizations as well, such as the EWTN network, that strive to help ministerial Protestants and clergy converts to Catholicism figure out that path and get them connected. It's a super tough one though. Intellectual blocks. They are not following where the evidence leads and are not open really to reasonable dialogue. These are the people that probably love to feel right rather than to follow the truth. This is really unfortunate because you can never get on the same page and talk with people in the same language to be able to even have a dialogue necessary in order to grow in your faith. And isn't that the goal of every believer? Iron sharpens iron. If Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, then we are fully pursuing him as Christians, isn't following the truth wherever it leads vastly more important than feeling right in a conversation all the time? I say feeling right in a conversation because feeling right can be wildly different than being right. At the end of the day, the truth is what is right. And when you encounter truth, no matter who you read, who you dialogue with, and who you encounter, truth is truth is truth. You don't have to skirt your intellect to know it. Rather, it compounds beyond your intellect, so you don't have to deny it. These intellectual blocks are so often put up by ourselves too. And I don't think it's even a Protestant thing. I think these intellectual blocks stop Catholics from engaging in genuine dialogue with Protestants as well. Emotional blocks. They cannot fathom leaving their current church family, community, friends, etc. Man, this has to be the toughest one. Have you ever been in a situation where you know the right thing to do, but your emotions are involved, and no matter what, they foggy up the decision-making process? Emotions are strong, period. There's no way around this. That is how we were created. But emotions can lead us down some sinful paths as well, so we have to find the balance. Think of one of the biggest objections for atheists to Christianity: evil and hypocrisy in the church. In fact, anyone who has left the church, I would suggest that a large percentage of those people were actually due to some sort of emotional response. Someone hurt them, someone gave them bad advice, someone didn't care for them, etc. It goes no different for blocking Protestants who have recognized the truth of the Catholic Church. I have felt this pull as well, to be honest, and my wife has too before she came into the church. You are so tied into the way the music is or the style of preaching from your old church that you don't want to sacrifice that for the truth that you've seen. Definitely, that's a tough one. The only advice I might offer here, though, if I may, is that when you know you are following the truth, there is a peace that comes from knowing you are not having to sacrifice your reason and knowing that you are following Christ in the church he established. Social blocks. There is too much external pressure from family and friends, and the persecution that they are facing is far too great for them to bear. This is really similar to emotional blocks, but there might be people in your life that would flip the freak out if they found out that you were drawn by the Spirit to the Catholic Church. Keep researching and learning and praying, and definitely don't shy away from dialogue with these people in your life. Those conversations need to take place. Just be sure to do them with the utmost charity. Time heals a lot of things, promise you. Personal blocks. This can be manifested in several forms, but one of the most common forms is that they have so much hate in their heart towards the Catholic Church for whatever reason that they will never seek to understand in any capacity. I think that it is only a lot of prayer and time and a whole lot of God that will soften a heart that is in this place. I think that a lot of these blocks above can actually be summed up here as well, because at the end of the day, someone allows the block to be a barrier of following the truth. You have to personally allow that. And this isn't to say that these are the only blocks. I can only really speak from my experience on my journey and what I have seen and come to know. Whatever the block is, we can always work on establishing our common ground as believers, and hopefully, charitably, engage in dialogue regarding the rest of the items that separate us as brothers and sisters in Christ, pushing us closer together and closer to Christ, who unites us all in his body. Let me know what other things might be stopping you in your journey in the comments below. I'd love to engage in a dialogue and possibly put out some more video content on my understanding of some of those things. If you haven't already, hit the like button, tap that subscribe button so you can get more of this awesome content. And from all of us here at Practical Theism, we'll catch you next time.